I'm Lisa Maxwell, and today is Wednesday, April 8th. I'm using the Herbal Tarot by Michael Tierra and Candace Canton today. Yesterday we used the Goddess Tarot. I understood why we did that a little more, why I was compelled to use that, and also a little more about that Five of Swords that came up at the end of the reading. Was I kept thinking, like, kind of the figure in that card, and you can go back and look at that reading, was two cards are already coming up. The Seven of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. The figure that came up, and that was in a black and white dress, and it was to try to avoid getting out of black and white thinking. So the juniper berries, wonderful, and hops. So the Seven of Cups has come up together with the Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Cups is a card of, of having a lot of different choices. So you may feel that today. Mars is at the 29th degree of Pisces. So cups are the card of are the suit of spirituality, of our emotional intelligence, our feelings, our intuition, using all of that to intuit things. Remember, though, that intuition is a great part of our wisdom. Because it's intuition and it's not something we can always put our hands around or understand in a scientific way, it is often discounted as not being actual wisdom. But, tell that to anybody whose intuition tells them to get out of a situation, and then there's a 10-car pile up, So anyway, it may not be scientific, but what the seven, we can get calmer about the way we utilize our intuition when we have so many options on deck. Because if we bring in the seven and we engage with spirit and we calm ourselves down and actually bring in God's spirit, whatever is a higher power than you, that higher, wiser self, like, what do I really want here? To get very honest, to calm the waters down, to get clarity. How do I want to be direct? And with Mars at the 29th degree of Pisces today, honesty and direction, that 2 and the 9 of the 29th degree of the last sign of the zodiac nets to an 11, and that's integrity. So how do we act with integrity? Mars is about action. It's about motivation. And reference other astrologers, not me. I'm not a professional for that, but I know a lot about it and how the cards are definitely point in that direction. And so we want to be in a receptive gesture. So we have hops for the, so juniper berries are actually something that's very cleansing. It's they're clarifying. The juniper, like essential oils, will absolutely cleanse out and clean out not great smells that are in the house or whatever. They also can pave the way for forgiveness. Pisces is all about forgiveness and compassion. So this is the kind of stuff that we want to be bringing in. And we mostly want to do that with ourselves. So I see like a singular figure here, but there's a hand reaching out. So again, there's a hand reaching out. This is a give. The Six of Pentacles is a card of give and take, and it's about it. Six is about what we value. The Pentacles are also about what we value. It might be in the realms of our physical health. It's how do we make a choice here. There's a lot of choices on deck, but what is it that we value, and how does the choice that we're going to make, combined with our asking spirit to give us direction about how to value and how to show that we value the things in our life. The cups are also about like what we love. Let your emotions really define that for you and define your directions today. Mars is about, this is the direction where I'm going to take things. And this is like on the day-to-day, right? 6 is a number of receiving. That's a day-to-day. This is like how we start to also like look at how do our responses to our emotions, Mars is about response, show that we value something. I'm going to give you this cup. It's in an open gesture, right? So how do we do that? Hops. One of the reasons I hesitate to use this deck is because I love herbal medicine. I don't know a lot about it, but I'll look it up and I'll post it in the comments about what hops stands for and how hops supports what the Six of Pentacles represents. I'll do that for all of them, actually, the juniper berries and everything. That's a lot of fun to do, to give everybody that information. And definitely look up the information on the goddesses that I posted in the commentary for yesterday's reading. There's a reason that we needed that goddess, that divine energy. And there's an interesting story about Imana, who is an ancient Sumerian goddess who was the inspiration for a lot of different other goddesses, such as like Ishtar. And her story is pretty amazing about how we can better utilize our masculine and feminine energies, and how her, she kind of swung too far into the masculine energy and was not necessarily using it in the best way possible. She used it to a point and it got her to a point, but then she actually had to pare down and be in a vulnerable place in order to be in her true and fullest. She actually had to go through an ego death. And our ego is the masculine side of us, and it's not bad, but of course anything like that's overbalanced, and we see that. But the goddess energy is coming up for us to use to create balance in terms of, we may not be able to affect on the global scale in our lives, but on the micro level, in our lives, in our everyday interactions, is where we can start to change things on the small scale. And that's the only way that really we're going to affect change ever on the large scale. Ace of Pentacles is here as another card. Whole grains, so healthy. Getting grounded. Part of the reason I think this particular deck offered itself as a choice to read from today is because being grounded, I think today is really important with all of these kinds of things on deck. Whole grains tend to work more slowly in the they slow down our metabolism in a good way, so that way we're not always like feeling hungry. We're not always looking for the next thing. So an Ace of Pentacles would represent that, something that's slow growing. Now I noticed that these grains have grown up on the side of the path. So we want to be planting whatever we do choose. So that reminds me of the parable in the Gospels about the three different grains where they were planted. Some were planted like on the path and they basically dried up and yielded nothing. Some were planted along the shallow. They yielded something, but again, kind of weren't really that fruitful. But if we kind of go a little deeper, if you look into this and past that wall, you see that there's a very deep field. So we have to go past some of these superficial things that might be on offer to decide what is the one thing that we really, really want to be honest and going toward, be very direct, and be willing to take the time to walk down this path and see what's on the other side of that gate, because it's probably a much better field to plant the seeds that we're being offered in this Six of Pentacles. So I don't know if, let's see, at the bottom of the deck, we have the Eight of Cups again. This is Gravel Root, I think is the name. Six of Cups is, and the Moon. So the Moon is coming up as well. Some of the astrology, if you look on things like Astro Gold is one that I use. Astro Seek is another one. Look forward into the chart. You'll see that we have a pile up of, which is called the stellium of planets in the sign of Aries. So all of that is also lending to this like push forward. Plus all of the planets are direct right now. Again, reference astrologers that are more educated than me. But we are seeking something that's more emotionally fulfilling. Period. The Seven of Cups is like, what is going to emotionally fulfill me? And it's only by going to, planting into deeper, more fertile soil. Maybe it's making a selection. I'm making only one seed. I'm willing to go through that gate with my one seed that's so precious to me. And I know that this is I know I'm going to have plenty of water. So those are the ones. I will post the the meanings that are offered for these various herbs that support the cards that we saw today. Those will be in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Again, whenever this message finds you, it doesn't matter. It's for you. Send it to somebody who you think needs it. And if you want your own private reading, or want to discuss what we're, any of this in a deeper way, direct message me on any of the platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. I love you. Have a wonderful day.